What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show we record. It's not the one we're talking about.
The latest and greatest. Yeah, Streamcast, right?
I was starting off recording conversations we were gonna have anyway. I went into our old conversations intro,
Right.
which is legendary, but not the correct one. So, what's happening, everybody, and welcome back to Streamcast, a show where we watch the latest and greatest stuff on streaming services with you guys. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good, man. It's going good, despite this being my least favorite.
This is the best episode, everyone agrees, by far. They have these great monsters, dragons, and they do so much. They do so much in this episode.
So much. I'll actually even forgive the atrocious voice acting for the dragon.
I love, because it's so disjointed. It's like, dragons just like, and then there's like normal words coming out. It's
normal words come out, and like it's in the middle of trying to protect this egg thing with all these dudes trying to kill it, and it's just like, do the thing, Geralt. Like, I'll forgive that.
Pass.
My biggest beef is two things, and they're both Yen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we'll get there.
Oh, I know one of them probably because I had the same beef bag, but I don't know what the other one is, and I'm interested to find out.
Yeah.
Guys, this is Streamcast, coming to your eyes and ears every Tuesday here on the Four Pillars Network. If you like this sort of stuff, you can subscribe to the channel for other awesome stuff as well, other awesome podcasts.
Yes.
But if you love us specifically, because we don't whine about Assassin's Creed all the time, you can join us over on youtube.com/something, because the URL's a bit weird at the moment. Just click the link in the description or search True Gamer Podcast on YouTube.
You'll find us. You're looking for Conversations. We're also streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/Conversations.
That's right.
And but look, if you did want to support us on our content, the best place, of course, is patreon.com/Conversations, where we actually have a few people to thank.
We do have a few people to thank. Those super bros. Those bros that support us so much, they have reached the super status. Superman, get it?
Oh, God. We're changing the name, boys.
That's the reason why you guys are super bros. And those people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumsock, Carol to Rivia, a.k.a. Catsper the Friendly Patron, Record Friction, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Martin Scorsese's Master H. Barts 12, the Midget Alo from Smallville Sabine, the former freeloader Christian, Master Chief himself, Albiscori, Super Sus Benfire, who is a terrible defective clone of just awful. That one should have been aborted straight up. The Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling, Raj Vandalin, he's got a plan, guys. You just need to follow him on one last job. The Filthy FIFA Fanatic, Joe McCormack, My Juicy Left Nut, and Kevin, the #1 simp of Xbox. Thank you, bro, so much for keeping the lights and mics on, the streaming services going here at our Streamcast right here on the Four Pillars Network.
It always trips me up when that list changes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just going to be like, you get in the rhythm of it, like, this is a different one. Think about me who has to read it. I'm like, I've kind of got myself a rhythm, and then it changes.
You can read. I just assumed you memorized the list.
Okay, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want people to know the truth, but that is actually it.
Episode 6.
Episode 6 of The Witcher. Oh, just one quick thing. Next week's episode, guys, which hasn't aired yet, obviously, because we're doing this as and when the TV show comes out.
It's not airing, airs live.
We know Geralt very much.
That's
I think I was in the gym the other day with him, and I told him, I was like, release the next episode, while I spotted him because he can't really lift that much.
Exactly. You're right.
The next episode of Streamcast will be a double feature. We'll be watching the last 2 episodes and wrapping up Witcher Season 1, and then we'll be bang on target for Loki the week after. So that'll be really cool.
I'm actually really excited for Loki as well. So
this
will be good fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite cool.
It will be good.
Cool.
We're gonna do. I think we'll just do Ciri scenes and then their scenes, because the cutting's a bit odd. Like I actually don't mind it so much in this one, but it does sort of cut in strange places. Also because
for me personally, let's be honest, the Ciri stuff isn't too terribly interesting. There's some stuff that happens, you're like, okay, if this wasn't there, then they would lose a bit of context, no problem.
Right.
But it's like they're very short 1-minute scenes, and then it's like, right, you took me away from the action for that.
Like, I actually agree with you, which is like, one, those scenes are way too short, and two, like, Ciri's risk is that she's being pursued by Nilfgaard. All we needed to see was her run into the forest, be pursued by Nilfgaard. We don't need any of the rest of it.
Nope.
Because we can just cut back to her in episode 7 or 8, where she's like hungry, lost alone in the woods, and finds her destiny.
Yeah.
You know, like that doesn't change too much. All it really does is paint Ballsack bat helmet guy as a bad guy, which we already knew.
Oh, we didn't know he was a bad guy, right?
Right. And I mean, the Doppler guy is an odd, kind of interesting villain, I guess, but again, we can do without him.
Yeah.
You know, so I
insert villain A here.
Right, exactly. It could have been just a guy in Ballsack armor, chasing Ciri. We didn't need it, so
we needed more Ballsack armor. That was the main.
We need. This show should have been just Ballsacks.
That's it. Just Ballsacks, just walking around everywhere.
That's it. Like that one South Park episode.
Oh, there's a South Park episode with Ballsacks.
Wow, we're getting way off topic here.
We are. Can I ask you one favor just before we get started? Can you pass my glasses cleaner just there? Because I can't see shit.
Luckily, you don't. I was going to say you don't need to be able to see, but you need to see your notes, don't you?
Yeah, I can't read them, but you know, there's the.
Right, you need to be able to see them. You've got to maintain.
Exactly. Maintain the illusion. That's right. Anyway, guys, episode 6, A Rare Species. Geralt has been hired by some guys.
3 jackdaws.
No, just
that's right. I forgot about this.
Hired by some guys to do something, and these guys are like, "Oh, he's never coming back. He's been killed, probably something like that." And they discuss basically robbing Geralt of Rivia, robbing the White Wolf, robbing the Butcher of Blaviken.
Now, one of the guys does say,
"It's a bad idea."
One of the guys does say, the guy's like, "Well, what about paying him?" And he's like, "We agreed a price with a living Witcher."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, cool. You know, I get what you're saying."
Yeah.
But you do know which Witcher you hired, right?
Yeah. This is a very specific, legendary Witcher.
This isn't a Witcher. This is the Witcher.
Yes.
Right? Like...
Don't you know he's the one with the name on the show? Do you not see that?
Right. Like, it's his face on the box for the game.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Anyway, so they're like all like that, and then they go, "Fuck it, let's just steal his stuff," and they grab one of his bags, of his saddlebags off of Roach.
The weird thing is, why not steal the horse?
That's a good question, because it's not like the horse is it's nothing. Fuck it. So pennies. It's not even worth my time.
Even if the horse had no value, it's lunch,
and also it could carry everything back for you.
See what I'm saying?
Anyway, these guys are dumbasses, clearly.
Yeah.
Jeskir, bless his cotton socks, tries to stop them.
Hey, you, please don't do that.
Strong words. Does nothing. And just as he's about to like get involved and obviously take care of them.
Of course,
Jeskir's a man of honor.
He is.
An old man, a very short old man.
Yeah. And with two of the Dora Milaje.
And 2 of the Dora Milaje. That's what I thought. I was like, this is the Dora Milaje. They've clearly been around for hundreds and thousands of years. Right.
They have jurisdiction anyway. They find themselves to
wherever they find themselves to be. I love it. That's good. They show up, and what's really odd about this is that when I see this old man and these 2 women with like spears and swords and armor and the way that they are, I immediately think they're badass. These guys entirely ignore them.
Yeah.
And then they just focus on the guy. It's like leave the stuff, or I'll be forced to sheath my weapon.
Right.
And it's like, I don't see no steel. Pushes the guy, and I'm like, you done fucked up. I wouldn't have done this.
The thing is, like,
he rolled in with these
the 2 chicks are armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
And they're wearing, like, if you didn't know, like, we assume it's like dragon scales or something. We don't know. But if you did, it's like crocodile armor.
It looks
serious. Whatever it is, it looks awesome. And, like, they probably, to get it, have to kill the thing themselves. And that's how they make it. Like, I'm making it up. But you right, like...
And also, it's not like she's wearing like a maiden's dress or something like that.
And she's not like carrying herself like a maiden in distress, is it? Like, these are 2 chicks who are down to frickin' boogie.
This guy cannot read anything, anyone or any room.
Right. Just terrible.
He pushes the little guy. She then just jumps up behind, smacks him in the knee, snaps his neck.
Yeah, it just kills him straight up, bare hands.
Pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie.
And then her head slams into the ground right next to it. Yeah.
Looks like the head of some monster.
It's pretty
like
rough
that.
looking, yeah.
And Geralt walks out just slowly like that. It's like, goes up. And then the way he just looks off to the side, looks at the guy, and he's got the saddlebag on his shoulder. Looks at him, he's like, I'll be taking that. And it's just like, oh shit, oh fuck.
Right.
The way he just needed to look at him, he didn't even need to approach him.
Reminds me of the look he gives the guy at that whorehouse, where he's like, "Are we back for my horse?" And he goes, "You don't scare me," and doesn't say anything, just looks at him and gets a little bit closer. Like, yeah, you'll make sure the horse is taken care of.
Exactly.
You know? It's a great look.
Just that.
Honestly, Henry Cavill is actually a very talented actor, and for me, it was The Witcher show that really showed it off, because weirdly, Geralt goes to a much larger range than someone like Superman. He plays two characters. He plays Superman, literally the Man of Steel, and Clark Kent, which is like they're polar opposites. There's not a lot of like actual range in between, and bizarrely as Geralt, where he's supposed to be like emotionally limited, and then being emotional as an emotionally limited guy shows the extra range. It was this that made me go, okay, yeah, Henry Cavill's actually a super talented dude.
And it's a very strange character as well. It's not, this kind of character isn't like anyone you've ever met in life.
Right.
As you said, like Geralt is supposed to be like odd and weird and like hard to be around.
Right? Like human sandpaper.
It's
like
not,
you don't want to be
you can properly emulate because you can't empathize, you can't relate to it. Or
right, you
like
don't want to be rubbing up against sandpaper, right? And like everything about him, even in the books, so like his voice is described as like rough and coarse and gravelly, but like literally. So like it kind of grates on you when he speaks, and actually Henry Cavill does an incredible Geralt voice.
It's good.
It's so
really
good.
Anyway, so then he goes down, the other guy fucks off, and he speaks to the little guy and the Dora Milaje. And the guy introduces himself, and I swear to God I had to turn on the subtitles for this, because every time I heard it, the guy said, "Botch 3 jackdaws."
So I never catch the first bit, so I've called him 3 jackdaws the whole time.
And I'm like...
It's a weird freaking name, because jackdaws are a bird, right? Aren't they?
I don't know.
I think jackdaws are a bird.
I thought he just picked 3 words for his last name in the dictionary. He just went, 3, Jack, that's a name, fuck it, I'll take that anyway. And doors, that sounds good enough, there you go.
Oh, like doors like a door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's what I'm doing right there. But anyway, when I turned on subtitles, I was like, okay, so that's how it's spelled. Okay,
Right.
Anyway, he bowls up, and he knows who Geralt is.
Yeah, he's here for Geralt.
I'm here for you, Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah.
Oh. And then they move over to a pub somewhere, and they sit down to have a conversation.
And look, I just want to let's point this out. Jaskier, you need to stop. Right? Imagine simping over these women the way he simps over them. Couldn't be me. Could not be me simping over a character fitting similar descriptions in a thing. Because look at their hair. Just saying.
No afro, just saying, man.
There you go. Jaskier, you need to up your standards.
They're missing that one thing, Jaskier. Have better standards.
Although it is funny because as soon as they come up, I'm like, oh, great. Gonna have to simp again.
God damn it. This is... Why do you keep doing this?
Damn it, this super specific thing gets even worse. Like, okay, now I'm into these chicks with like crocodile armor and swords. Fuck.
We need fan fiction of Sheps with these women, right?
No,
just put Sheps in there.
No, we don't need that.
Just his face like, oh!
So...
Or even splice in his face over Jaskier when they're having this conversation. Anyway, he lays down a line. It's like, you have a very attractive neck.
Yeah, like a sexy goose. Jaskier, bro. Do you know what's really funny? What is really funny is Jaskier is a kind of a ladies' man, right?
Yeah.
And, like, this is what he's known for. Like when we were in Sintra, he asked Geralt to come because he's fucked so many of these guys' wives and daughters and stuff, right? And now he's simping on these 2 girls because they're so exotic and unusual. So, like, they're warriors. They're from... He names whatever, I guess, Africa would be in this version of Earth. Like, it's a place. And so they're so exotic and unusual. And also they don't seem to give him any attention. Because he's a pretty guy and he's attractive. But they're not really interested in him. They're really interested in this 3 jackdaws guy. So he's, like, trying to get their attention. So it's funny to watch Jaskier, this ladies' man... basically simp over such exotic women and then come up with terrible lines like that. Even Geralt's like, oh.
No, this ain't good. This ain't good. Anyway,
he lays out the thing that a green dragon turned up in some kingdom we've never heard of before, and there's a race, and whoever gets it, whoever kills the dragon and presents proof, gets to keep the treasure, become a vassal state, so like a little a buddy of the king, and can can keep treasure. Yeah, and that's it. Like, and it's a race.
Yes, exactly. Basically, there's a wedding coming up or something like that, and they need to get rid of the dragon before then.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to look really bad. They did also mention that they wounded the dragon beforehand, which just made it angrier. And it just got worse from there, so that's why this race has come on. He then introduces like 4 of the other teams. There's the dwarves over here. There's the Ravishers or
Reavers.
Reavers. That's
calls,
it,
yeah.
Reavers. These other guys. And with the other team, it's like you said 4 teams. With the third team, who's the 4th one?
Yeah.
And in comes in a knight and Yennefer
Of Vengerberg.
and just as soon as she walks in,
I'm
eyes
in.
immediately lock with Geralt. And I love it. Jessica's
like,
no, okay.
yeah.
Well, as Geralt said, we're out. We're not going to
Yeah.
be doing this. Let's get on our way. I'm in. Mother of fucking God.
God damn it.
Anyway, we then cut to outside. They're about to start on their train. And everyone's having a little bit of conversation with each other. Obviously, the dwarfs are butting heads with the... Was it Reavers? Reavers, that's right, with the Reavers and stuff like that. The Reavers look like just weird people and really like...
They just look like bandit type guys.
Yeah.
Right?
They're the guys that you'd find out in the Fury Road and stuff like that.
That's who they are.
Just
yeah.
going to kill you for parts,
Yeah.
basically. And Yennefer and Geralt have a little word.
They catch up a bit, right?
Yennefer comes up. It's like, in all of my years, I've never come across a Witcher, but as soon as I see you, I can't get rid of you. And then Jessica lays down a serious burn. He's like, I'd say there's something strange afoot, but witches are bound to come across monsters. Oh,
sick burn.
Where was that quick thinking when you were trying to hit it with the ladies, bruv? Come on, man.
Sick burn.
Great, good burn. Good burn right there.
Also, we get a taste of the night she's with. He's like praying or something and stands up and there's for kingdom and glory. Like he literally said, like, this dude is a bore.
Yeah.
Already.
This guy, like, he's been plucked out of a book or something like that. That's
yeah, but like one of the
the
trash ones, like something like Lord of the Rings. You know, just a terrible book with
like
no...
a terrible Lord of the Rings. Yeah, definitely. I
Right.
agree with that one.
Although it's kind of ironic because this is high fantasy, and that's actually why I forgive the dragon stuff.
Right.
Because, like high fantasy, like what you think of in your head with the wizard with the long beard and who does magic, right? Dragons are almost non-existent in the world.
Yeah.
And gold dragons, like, they're a myth. They don't exist. So this is as high fantasy as Geralt has ever seen.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the idea that, like, a dragon can turn into a dude. Because it's, like, one of the most powerful magical beings ever to have existed. I don't mind that. It speaks really calmly, or that's the way it projects its voice. I'll forgive all of that.
Yeah.
Because this is, like, so out of Geralt's realm of experience. But there are some things I cannot forgive. This knight is one of them. But I'm not super beefed out about it. But it's just funny that you've got this boring dragon and this boring knight. You know?
I get you.
It's weird. There is one thing though, which I forget where I put it in my notes because we skip the serious stuff. On the trail,
yes.
Geralt is talking to the girls,
yes.
Whose names I forget. They're very similar. It's like Dora and Mora or something,
or
something like that. And he's like, so what? Why are you...
Jessica speaking to
That's
them.
it, yeah. He's like, so why are you working for...
Are you guys like security? Are you this and whatnot?
Yeah, and she just turns to him like, are you stupid? Because he's the most beautiful. Huh?
I mean, to each in their own, you know, whatever your thing is, go for it.
It's also, for me, it's these two the girls, that make the 3 jackdaws thing bearable.
Yeah.
Like, because they say all this weird cryptic stuff that just doesn't make any sense. And actually, he says some stuff around a campfire. And it's like, looking back on it when you know he's a dragon, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And also because obviously they know he's a dragon the whole time. Yeah. It's like he's the most beautiful. Not the way he looked. Like, he is just, this is some form he's taken. And it makes so much more sense. You're like, okay.
But what dragon? What are you talking about? You mean the dragon we're trying to find?
There's a green dragon, apparently.
Green dragon,
that's right.
Okay, that's fine right there. Anyway, so then Jessica asks about that, and Jessica loves to put the moves on the lady later on, and he goes, ladies, you look absolutely famished. Why don't I wander aimlessly in the bush and try to get you some food?
He's trying to wander aimlessly in their bush.
Exactly. That's what he's really trying to do, guys. And he wanders out into the bush and he finds some like berries almost looking thing.
Yeah.
And then he sees something in the bush. like a little
Hey, girl,
animal.
I found a fawn or something.
Yeah. And then eventually she's like, oh, hey, hello there, making
You're
something
the
noise.
cutest little... Oh, my God, Geralt,
And
Geralt.
it stands up and it's like taller than him.
I love
It
that he
basically looks
runs back. He's like, Geralt, Geralt.
one of your friends again. And I love it because this thing is just basically, it's basically Dobby from Harry Potter,
Yes.
but giant.
But huge, yeah.
And the eyes are just unsettling and stuff like that. Anyway, it comes out and everyone sees it. And Geralt goes, oh, it's Hiraka or something like that. And he says, no one attack, sheathe your weapons. And before he even gets to say why or what his plan is or what they're going to do, Sir Ike, this
That's
guy
it,
that Yennefer has brought along, pulls out his sword and valiantly just starts
screaming,
slashing at it, chops off his head, chops off his
The
arm,
worst thing-
stabs, slashes, even though it's dead, mangled corpses
Oh,
on the
yeah,
ground.
he's-
Keep going. The blood everywhere.
The worst thing is the first thing he does is cut off its arm, and immediately it does that kick dog squeal,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh no, this thing wasn't trying to
a
beef
threat.
you out.
No.
And then once it's dead, he's still hacking away at it, and then it's like, okay, hang glory, hang glory.
And everyone else is just looking like, fucking
What the
girl's
hell?
just like,
Also, I don't get why Yen simps on him. She runs over, she's like, you could have been killed, and
Yeah.
like strokes his face. It's so out of...
it's like, you could have been killed.
Oh, correction, she's doing it to piss off Geralt.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I do know that, but it's like, it's out of character for her.
Yeah.
It's way out of character.
And that's the thing, is like, while you're trying to trick Geralt, he's not going to believe
yeah,
that.
that's he's he's a detective. This is over the top.
I think she's just clutching her straws here. I think that's what she's doing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Anyway, yeah, so then they have, after that, they set up camp, they set up a campfire, and everyone's sitting down and talking about the current state of the world and how Nilfgaard is taking over more and more places, inch by inch, and soon they'll take over the whole realm. And after a bit of discussion about how, like, everything's getting taken apart.
Just at the beginning of this, Sir Ike starts munching the monster,
Yes, he does.
and
He has to be excused. It's like, my lady, I think I'll retire for tonight. Will you be joining me tonight? Oh, I don't want to soil your
Honor.
your good honor.
I love
Jessica's
Jessica's like, no, that boat has sailed, sunk, and landed on the bottom of the ocean. Like, God damn.
Jessica. Anyway, he gets off, and you can hear him like farting along the
Yeah,
way.
it's
He's
pretty
with
bad.
his thing. Anyway, after a few more of them break up and leave, Geralt breaks down and starts talking about the dragons because Jeskia says, "Well, so we're gonna have new evil overlords running our kingdoms,
Right.
and dragons are a thing. Good day then, eh?"
Right.
Like, okay, it's like Geralt, dragons are a thing, although the numbers are dwindling. Green dragons, like the one we're hunting now, is the most common. Red is rarer, and black is the rarest of them all. And the old man says,
Gold is the rarest.
"No,
gold's
that's
a myth. They don't exist.
They don't exist."
Also, what's cool is he brings it sort of kind of back to himself. He's like, that would have to be a super rare mutation.
Yes.
And in my experience, mutations that rare are never by accident. It's always on purpose.
Exactly.
And it's really talking about like how you make freaks almost, right?
Yeah.
And that they're made for a reason. Like witches were made for a reason.
He even says that regardless if it's a mutation or intentional or a myth or whatever, the same fate of anything too different to endure will happen. They die out.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he's really talking about himself. That's
Yeah.
what he's talking about here.
Yeah.
But it's so knowing what this man is, knowing that this man is the Gold Dragon. It's so great because he's probably like really on the same level, empathizing with him. Is that?
Yeah, he's like presumably he's definitely the last gold dragon.
Yeah.
Like we're pretty certain of that. And he might have also been the only gold dragon. And Geralt is one of the last witchers, and he's like the great witcher.
Yeah.
So he's kind of in that same. They're kind of equals in their existence in that way.
Yeah.
It's quite cool because although they're talking about dragons, they're both really talking about themselves.
Yeah. Exactly. Then should we do the Ciri bits here to catch everyone up?
Yeah, we can do that.
So there's one bit we cut to Ciri earlier on with a fake mouse sack, and they're leaving the Brockland Forest. Later on down the road, Dara
He starts questioning Mousetrap.
starts questioning him
and like asking him probing questions, and then using
Good questions.
and then using those responses to like tear apart his story. Like he's not buying it.
And then he turns to Ciri and he's like, look, this is what they do. When someone's captured, they don't just let them go. They don't ever escape. They turn them and then they use them to get to other people.
And then Mousetrap, hearing this,
all of a sudden...
Mate, it looks like he's pulling out a shank.
Yeah, it looks like he was. And he's like, oh, Ciri. And he says it in a weird way. Like
he's so creepy.
It's like, your grandmother told me to give you this. My grandmother's sash. She goes over and grabs it, and then he does the creepiest thing in the world.
Oh, God, yeah, he smells like a couple locks of her hair. It's...
Oh shit!
Also, Dara sees it.
He's right there. What's wrong with you, bro?
It's this guy is whoever's playing Mousetrap or whatever actually is very good, and he's super sinister.
Yeah,
super sinister. It's really good.
We have those bits. Then we cut back to our guys. Geralt goes up to... So after a little bit of walking, they decide... Oh, sorry. This is where they discover.
In the morning, Sir Ike never returned.
Yes.
And someone's
neck slit.
Yeah, one of the dwarves said, "Who cuts a man's throat while he's taking a shit? Is nothing sacred?"
There's nothing sacred anymore.
That might be Jaskier.
The children.
Anyway, look, that's the highlight of the episode.
Yes, exactly. That's where it peaks, and then it just drops after that.
And then what happens? They
go on. They continue their journey. But the dwarfs say, "Tell you what, we used to mine around here. We know of a shortcut. Tell you what, why don't we take the shortcut, and when we get to the next peak, every man for himself after that." Is that cool?
We'll watch each other's backs, because they're pretty sure the Reavers and the other team... No, the Reavers, because there's a bunch of them.
Pretty sure it was them that killed Sir Ike.
So like, we'll watch each other's back and take the shortcut, and then when we get there, it's every man for themselves. We'll all go after it. We'll separate.
So they do that.
Geralt runs ahead. He tells Jaskier,
Yen's ahead.
Yeah, go with them. And Yen is like on her own now. Runs up and catches up to Yen.
Yes.
And they catch up. They speak.
Yeah.
What do they talk about? Oh,
she talks about what she's doing here. Well, Geralt asks her, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, I need the dragon myself. It's like, what for? It's like, it's got certain healing properties. And he sort of deduces, he's like, oh,
you're looking for...
You're not looking for the
made up fertility cures using dragon's hearts.
That's it. It's like, it's not made up. It is made up.
And then he starts to say, well, like, why do you even want a baby?
Because it was taken from me.
That
wasn't taken from you.
No, it wasn't. And she goes, I want the choice, which I like that she wants the choice. Yeah. That bit of Yen, I believe. But that it was taken from me. They took it from me. No, they didn't.
They didn't.
You 100% knew it. Now, you might, like, earlier on, when he first meets her, he says, that I didn't know what it would mean to me. Fine. But it was taken from me? No. Like, you sought this out. You were denied it, sought it out, and then stole your way in, right? Like...
You did it without the consent. That's what you did. You went and did it yourself.
You really went after this, and that Yen is not the Yen that we know.
Yeah.
The Yen we know is, I didn't know what it would mean to me, fine, and I'm looking to gain even more power to cure the cost of getting power. Okay, cool. But this, they took it from me. No, they didn't.
Bullshit.
I hate that. And that line is what makes this whole episode the worst episode. I'll forgive everything about the dragon. I'll forgive everything about 3 jackdaws. I'll forgive everything about the Nilfgaard guy. I'll forgive everything about the Doppler. I cannot stand that one line.
Yeah, it all
really bugs me.
Itself as well. No one told them.
She's literally one of the most powerful people on Earth. She's so powerful she can counteract a thing that grants wishes multiple times. Yeah. She'll do that in her life. I don't like it.
Why doesn't she just do it the Scarlet Witch way and just manifest them out of nothing?
She should, and give the guy a magnum dong.
Exactly. Anyway, a little bit more into that conversation.
There's a couple of interesting things.
Yennefer, you a mother, and it's like, yeah. What would you mean? Would I make a bad one?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's blunt right there.
He says, I don't know if it's here, but so one, he drops that he has a child surprise.
Yes, he says, it says about his child surprise, and she turns around and says, oh, you're giving me a lecture about being a mother and wanting a baby, but when you've stolen someone else's...
You conspired with fate to steal one for yourself. Which is a great way...
That's not how it went, but...
Yeah, that's not how it went, but you're not wrong, but that's not how it went.
Yeah. And
also... I don't know if it's here or later on, but he says, one of the reasons the people that made us infertile. One of the kinder reasons was because this life doesn't suit having a family. It doesn't suit having children.
That's right.
And he also says, he says this cool line right here. I think it's the last thing it says. Why is it whenever I find you, I say more than I've said in months, and I will always regret everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Geralt is a guy, he's laconic, he doesn't say much. And even when he's talking to Yennefer, he hardly says much.
Yeah.
But like...
He feels compelled to speak to her, though.
Right, and this is a guy that...
do say things that he shouldn't...
Right.
He doesn't want to say, like, doesn't have to say.
Exactly.
Or even talk at all.
Exactly. This is a guy who could probably go a month without saying more than 2 sentences, where it's just like ordering a room for the night and food.
Yeah.
You know, like a room, dinner. That's all he has to say, right? 3 words. Yeah. And then can go another 3 weeks without ever speaking.
Yeah.
And suddenly he's everything's coming out. He's blurting it out because Yen, like, makes him human.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the point.
Yeah, exactly. We do have one scene in between here where Ciri, where the jig is up basically with the Doppler. Ciri asks a couple of questions and says, I was like, what about your hometown of Skellige and the cold and stuff like that? Yeah, I miss it. Oh, you said you hated the cold because you have arthritis. And it's like, oh my God, you said that Sintra was your new home. You're not really him. And then he's like, I don't care anymore.
That's it. I'm going to beef you out.
Exactly.
They do
start
beef.
Fighting. Dara has a silver knife that the guy grabs and burns him. They use it against the guy a couple of times, but he gets the better of them, and Ciri runs away.
They get the better of him.
True.
And then Ciri messes it up because she's not our Ciri. She's like douchebag Ciri. Yeah. And she's like, Dara, kill him. Oh, I'm not going to do it. Well, I'll do it. And then the guy gets up and beefs him out because he's a magical creature who can change shape. Also, I think he changes back into his normal face. Yeah. His nightmare fuel.
Very, very, The grey face with the veins all over the place is very bad.
And then he like knocks out Dara, and she's like, "Oh shit! I guess Dara's dead to me at least. See you later."
Dara is dead. No one could tell me otherwise. Goodbye.
And just kicks off into the forest. Just dusts.
Madness. Anyway, she dusts out, and then we come back to the gang who are now at the shortcut, which is on a very simple, just nice little path.
Yeah.
Scaling the side of a cliff with tiny boards of wood.
It's like they heard the word 2x4 and thought, well, one of them counts for 2 then. We'll just use one.
Exactly. It's just like, well, there's a chain on the wall as well. What more do you want? Come on now, let's get
Also, I love the idea that the dwarf's like giving them shit and then walks off, and it's like, oh, no. You're literally half the size of the... Yeah. Like, not only do you not take up as much space, you probably don't weigh as much.
Yeah.
And this was made for guys your size.
Yeah.
Like, Geralt is a big dude.
Yeah.
He's easily 6'2", 6'3", in all
yoked
that...
Yoked!
In all that armor, 2 swords.
Yeah.
What? Potions.
All the silver that he's picked up along the way, the gold and whatnot.
Right.
Jesus Christ. And what I really like, though, is that what happens is they all get out onto the ledge after a little bit of like, oh, fudge, Jesus Christ.
There is one thing, though. Did you notice they pull away, you can see everybody walking. Only one person is walking naturally. Okay, cool.
I was like, Geralt is he's composed, although he's still like keeping control.
Yeah.
But one person is just strolling as if nothing's going on.
Yeah.
And it's the old man.
Yeah, it's 3 jackdaws.
This guy's a fucking badass. This guy.
Yeah, so again,
he's not afraid of death. He looks it in the eye.
Again, so like I'm willing to give the whole like the way the dragon speaks, the way he speaks, because he's probably one of the most powerful things on the planet, right? And he's probably freaking ancient. You know, he says a bunch of times, it's one of my last firsts.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, and also he's not afraid of heights. He can literally fly.
Yeah.
He's a dragon. So. Weirdly, I actually really enjoy that touch.
Yeah.
That he's just strolling normally, and everybody else is like, especially Jaskier, who's like trying to like. It's quite funny.
I mean, who's a dragon?
What? No, nothing.
Oh, sorry. Did you say? I thought you said something. Sorry,
no. Yeah.
Sorry. Terrible cough you had there. Whatever it was.
Yeah, it was so long. A really long cough, very specific sounding.
Exactly. And they walk across these wooden planks, and eventually one of them breaks.
Yeah.
And the old man and the 2 women fall down. Luckily, they grab onto the chain that's hanging off of the wall, and Geralt grabs it with one hand. Fucking legend, holding 3 people on the fucking. And this thing's a fucking.
He could take the pace of Spider-Man. Careful, he's a hero.
Oh yeah. Well, careful.
It's no older than my son. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just got that vibe of him. Just, I don't know, he was holding on to the thing. Anyway, the dude's like, you gotta let us go.
No, I'm not gonna let you go. And he says something cryptic and like weirdest, like, and he thanks him as well for taking him on this expedition. Yeah. He makes it vague enough where it sounds like, I'm gonna let myself die so that you guys can live.
Right.
Because the weight of him holding those 3 people and him standing on the current board that he's on,
it's giving way.
Is enough to give way right there. And he just lets go.
Yeah, 3 jackdaws lets go, and then the Dora Milaje look.
I guess we're doing the same thing.
And they drop.
All of this training and all of this preparation to become badasses that we are.
Preparation.
Pick up a penguin. We just let it go. That's how much of a boomer we are. Remember those adverts.
Right.
And they just let go, and then they're just into the smoke down below.
Mate, you just turned me back to like a 6-year-old.
Yeah. And that's it.
It's proper weird. Everyone finds it, especially Geralt. He's like, people don't throw their lives away to save other people. That's not how this works. He's really shocked in this moment.
And especially after very little trying. There was very little effort to try. And it's like, we haven't even begun. Maybe we could have done something. But you just gave up.
And also, it's like to save Geralt, who they don't know, who's a Witcher, who's like expendable, hated. Like it's very odd. And again, Geralt, Henry Cavill does just in a few looks, especially the looks at the end.
Yes,
are very, very good.
Yeah. So then they let go, and then they move along. They they
make camp.
What's going on? They make camp, and
Geralt heads up to Yennefer's tent.
Tiny little tent. It looks like nothing. I didn't even know she was carrying this tent. To be honest, I didn't see it anywhere. But it's a little tiny crummy little tent. And then he goes in.
Ding 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 ding.
And it's the fucking Doctor Who's
the TARDIS
right here inside.
I think he even says nice and simple.
Nice and simple, yeah.
It's got like a roaring fireplace,
fucking
bear
beams,
skins, yeah.
When did you set
this
up?
King size bed with like the curtains.
Yeah, fucking great. Anyway, it's like, oh, do you like it? It's like, I mean, it's a bit much, but whatever. We'll get
right. It's a little pretentious, but
Yennefer makes a move on Geralt.
Yeah, she starts like almost stripping down.
Yeah,
and goes to kiss him and says, "This is what you're here for," and he goes, "No, I'm here for you," which is totally different to like what she was getting after.
Yeah, but they have a little conversation about like who's leaving who and who's trying to set the tone for this relationship that they have.
Yeah,
and you get the idea that this isn't like the last time they met was that first time they banged. I think there's been other times in between.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
and they sort of like talk about it. It's like, oh, you left me last time. It's like, but you left first. And they show like little snippets of other times when they were together, and you get the idea that it's been a couple of times.
Like,
and it makes more sense now. The other thing she says before about like, I bumped into you all so many times now.
Always, yeah, I've never met a Witcher. By the way, she's old. Like at this point, they're both around 90 or maybe older. And she says, the first thing she says is, how is it I went my whole life, almost 100 years, or however many, never meeting a Witcher, I'm bumping into you and I can't shake you, you know? And then there's that scene, you know, in this scene, Geralt smells her perfume and he gets that smell. And they start talking about this. You know, he says, like, the moment I dread most is when that smell fades, when you're really gone. And she's like, you left first. You know, I woke up in Rind, in a demolished house, and you weren't there. And Geralt's like, oh shit, that's right, I did do that, forgive me. And then they fade to black, thank God, because actually a sex scene would have ruined it.
I can't see that kind of stuff anyway because of my Christian faith.
Exactly. And we don't allow that on a Christian Minecraft server.
Exactly we do not. And on this Christian YouTube channel.
That's right.
Right here.
And then I'm an atheist and you're Muslim. And then they what do? They wrap up. Yeah. And they're talking in bed. Yeah. I can't remember exactly what they say, but it's some really sweet stuff.
Yeah, they're talking. So he's like, Yennefer actually asks about the whole emotionless thing. He's asking about, so it's like, are you guys actually like emotionless, like void of human emotion? And Geralt sort of lays out, it's like, people think that, and
it makes it easier to hurt us.
Exactly. That's the reason why they came up with that. And it's just like, I'm not gonna...
It's a half truth.
Yeah,
so like the mutations and stuff do really dampen their emotions, but they are still there. They're still human beings, right?
And he's evidence that he does have some human emotion inside
exactly.
him.
They're just very grayscaled.
Exactly. And he doesn't
It's the Black Ops 1 color palette.
That's it. Cool back. And he doesn't do anything to correct them because it's better this way, really.
Right.
That he has to distance himself from these people that are probably going to betray him anyway.
Right.
And he falls asleep nicely as well, and she's like stroking his face and whatnot. It seems like they're gonna start this relationship. It's gonna be
asks
Yen
about
and Geralt.
He asks about the baby, and she says, "I just wanted to be important to somebody," and like as he's falling asleep, well, he also says a couple of things about like it used to be busy days and restless nights, but whenever I'm with you, and he starts slipping away into sleep, and that's the thing is he says like you're important to me, and it's almost as if it's a throwaway, but no, he really means it, because especially when Geralt says something, there are no hidden motives. It's 100% from deep down in the heart, because that's all he has. And it's cool because Yen literally humanizes him. Yen allows him to rest, allows him to like break down his barriers and stuff, and keep the protection of like never letting people get close. Even Jaskier, who's been with him for like 10 plus years at this point, or longer, way longer, right? He still doesn't let Jaskier get too close, but Yen like breaks down those barriers. He says like you're important to me, and it's a really sweet little scene. Because the worst thing, again, one of the reasons I hate this episode is some of the best things in it are Yen's scenes with Geralt. Like
she does dumb shit.
but that they took it from me, destroys it all. But this scene is so nice, and their breakup scene is incredible,
especially because of the reasoning, and he doesn't get to explain anything, and there's no way to really detailedly explain it very quickly, and it's just so frustrating. It's so great.
It's so frustrating.
We do have a little bit of Ciri scenes in between where Ciri's being taken by the dude with the hat and the ballsack armor.
The ballsack armor.
Starts saying weird things to him. It's like, oh, I just wanted you because you don't know how important you are to the future.
You matter
so much. But then we find out that it's not actually him.
Yeah, so it isn't actually Ciri.
It's
so the Doppler goes as Ciri and gets captured. Knowing that Ciri is important, and then
just to get the information from him,
and then turns into him. And then they beef, and it's weird because like this is a great scene. He goes, "You actually believe this stuff in your head? We think you're insane."
They have a massive ass fight, and it's like, "You actually believe all of this stuff in you?" And the way he keeps saying it, like we, our, us, it's so cool. It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Anyway, they start fighting, and
the Doppler escapes.
Eventually escapes. There is a scene later on that I think we can chuck in here as well.
Yeah, we might as well just catch it all up.
We then cut back to the guy in a room.
So basically,
slaughtered everyone.
What actually happens? The Doppler leaves. They're in like a let's say a pub in the back room in like the pantry, and he leaves. And the guy chases him and gets there, looks around and goes, "You're still in here, aren't you?" And then it cuts. And when we cut back, he's in the room. Everybody's dead. And Fringilla's treating a wound. And she goes,
would have sufficed. All I had was steel at the time.
Yeah, it's like,
what? Okay,
look, we knew you were a bad guy. Okay, we knew it. We knew. We don't need to see this. I actually don't mind it so much because it's more like he's not just like he is a religious fanatic, but he's also kind of unhinged.
Yeah, out of control, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what happens there. We then cut back to the guys. And they're on the last part of the trail. When they woke up, the dwarves, they went ahead, obviously being smart. They're like, we're going to get it before these guys. And they run after them. Yen does catch up to them and freezes them in time.
I think there's a little bit, which is in the morning, they go out. The dwarves are gone. That's how they realize. And Yen follows them. But Geralt is kind of pissed because he's like, I thought we... I already told you that the cure isn't real.
It's bullshit.
That's kind of, I think, the main thing that he's pissed about, because he's like, I wouldn't lie to you about this. It doesn't exist. It's fake. But she's like, no, I told you. I'm doing this for a reason. It's important to me. I'm going for it. I came for my own reasons. And so that's kind of the first fissure in their made-up relationship. She catches up to the dwarves and like freezes them.
and overtakes them and just
Right.
like, all right, I'll leave you guys there. But it turns out they were like right at the mouth of the nest of this dragon. She walks in and you see the dragon laying on the ground over there with an egg in the middle.
Yeah, the egg looks sick.
The egg does look really
It
sick.
does look sick.
The dragon, completely motionless, however.
Yeah.
White eyes, the dragon's dead.
It's actually really sad. It's like dead cuddling its baby.
Yeah, it's really, really adorable. It's like, oh, God, wait, come on, you loved it. You loved it. You were a great mum. Anyway, she walks in closer, and the Dora Milaje appear.
There's one thing
Go
before.
on.
I have 3 beefs with Yen.
Go on.
2 happen here. She goes in to kill a dragon with a frickin' letter opener.
I was going to say letter opener.
Like, it's a butter knife. You know?
Stand down, dragon. Give me your heart. Oh, shut up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
They can't believe it's not butter, but I can't believe it's not a shank. It's not a sword. Like, what are you doing? It's a... Mate, I got bigger kitchen knives.
Yeah.
I got bigger cutlery.
Yeah. And the other thing beef you had?
It's coming. It'll come.
It's coming, okay.
Yeah.
Walks in and the Dora Milaje appear. It's
Yeah.
like, hold on a minute, you guys died. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
And Geralt comes in
Just
as
at
well.
that
and
point,
he's
yeah.
like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And just as, they come like, it's like she's dead. They say it in a weird way. They're like, they say it's dead, and he goes, no,
Yeah, Yen
she's
says
dead.
it's dead, and
Yeah.
they say she is dead.
Yeah. And then
Which is
comes,
also kind of more humanizing.
Yeah.
The point of the way that when they correct it is to be like, this was an intelligent creature that's life had meaning. It wasn't like a drowner, you know, like some basic zombie thing. You know, this thing had wants and desires, and it was intelligent and rare and beautiful.
Yeah.
She is dead.
Yeah.
I do think they did mean that much when they made that correction.
I think so too. And you could tell there was like emotion in their eyes. when
You're
they were
right.
talking. And then, through one of the cracks in the rock in the ceiling,
Alright.
a golden dragon walks in.
Yeah.
And we're like, everyone's just like blindsided. They're like, what the hell?
Those don't exist.
This is an actual golden dragon.
I feel like
shiny
I feel
gold.
like Geralt in his head is doing the Spider-Man. Like, you.
Oh, there we go.
go.
You rare thing, I rare thing. I see what's going on here. Anyway,
Suddenly
Yeah.
we understand the he's the most beautiful because he is a very beautiful creature.
exactly, very beautiful. And the dragon explains in his normal voice, so they know that
and
this
like-
is the old man.
In like psychic speech,
Yeah,
but
he-
with weird mouth movements, like not a lot.
Yeah,
So almost like lip, like this, but
I was
you're a dragon.
I was gonna say he doesn't have lips, so it's like almost like his lips are moving, but he doesn't have lips.
It's kind of like a bird trying to drink or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just doing these little. It's weird.
really weird
It's
stuff.
weird.
And you're just like, so is he talking? Is he using psychic powers? Is he talking? I don't know what's going on
Right.
here. But then talks and tells like Geralt, it's me. It's I'm the dragon. And
Yeah,
we're
I'm
like,
the guy.
The dragon was protecting the egg. It couldn't go anywhere, and they sort of deduced that was the reason why it was attacking the
Right,
kingdom. and
it
stuff
beefed
like that.
people out because they were getting too close to its nest.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And just as that happens, just as the explanation is going on, the other guys catch up.
That's
the
right.
The Ravishers.
Reavers? Is it Ravagers? Reavers. I swear it's Reavers. Did we say Reavers?
Ravishers or Reavers keep
The
popping
radishes
up.
arrive
Yeah, they arrive. The
and they
radishes
go to
arrive.
make a sword salad.
That's what they do, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Geralt and Yen join
This is
the
my second beef.
Milaje.
This is my second beef.
Yeah, they join the Dora Milaje and they start fighting these guys.
Right. Now,
Everyone has an equal part to play in this.
here's the thing. Why can Yennefer fight like this? I don't have a problem. If she's like, for example, the Dora Milaje girls, I'm cool with them being this badass. Which also, they're not that badass. Like, one gets knocked out or something. Like, I think it's really to give Yen and Geralt the highlight fight. But I'm cool to say, like, they're every bit as capable as Geralt and Yennefer.
Yeah.
I buy. They're like bodyguards to a dragon.
Yeah.
You gotta be a badass if you're the bodyguard to a dragon.
Yeah, right.
Right? So they're my buy. It's nothing to do with Yen being female, right? Because she's like 90 years old. If she was to do sword practicing, she got the time to master it.
My problem was the sword.
First of all,
She's a mage.
She's a mage.
Sorceress. She's a witch.
She's one of the most powerful magic users on the planet. Why would she ever bother with a sword?
Should have just turned everyone off. So that's what I'm doing. She teleport the hell of you out.
Yeah, she can freeze people.
Yeah.
She can burst people. She can use fire.
She used the freeze thing on one guy once and then stabbed him in the neck, and I was like, well, this is what?
Like it's odd that she would go to the physical fighting, which puts her at so much danger, even if she's excellent at it, which I don't. This is the other thing. Yes, she has the time to become a sword master. And I also like the style she fights like Renfrey with the sword and a dagger, because they're fast, right? And she's a girl, that makes sense. But why would she learn swords?
Yeah,
she wouldn't.
It wasn't
because she's a mage. It's so bizarre.
So weird. Especially
it looks sick.
All she had to do was just to use magic on the side, then disarm a few people, and it would have been fine.
There's a cool scene as well. Like she goes, Geralt, Ard now, which I like that in this one case, the guy controlling the Witcher does what he's told by chat.
Yes. Wait, mate, you don't need to use your signs or your potions.
Also,
it's fine just using a sword. Everything's cool.
Maybe it's because I was a Lucio main back when Overwatch was a big thing. But I was like, oh, he's going for the floor is lava because he like
pushed him out of the cave. In the cave.
The thing about this that hurts the most is she's a badass. Her and Geralt fighting these guys looks awesome. But it doesn't make any sense. There's no reason that Yen would go to the sword. There's no reason that she would learn swordplay. She's a freaking mage and one of the most powerful ones out there.
It weird.
It bugs me.
One of the guys that got hit that didn't actually get killed is on the floor, and instead of like getting up to like run to the egg to try and crack it open, he decides to crawl his way over there.
Yeah.
Right next to the golden dragon that's guarding it.
That very calmly says the lines that were probably supposed to be like in anger with like they didn't give stage directions. It should have been like you shall not pass. Like
I was just gonna say
you shall not pass.
That's what it was supposed to be, I imagine, because the response was a giant flamethrower from the mouth of the dragon, burned him to a crisp. And the line before it was not delivered well.
No.
I
think they forgot the stage directions when it came to this, and they were like, "Can we really not? We really can't get him in for some ADR."
Sorry, I've got yoga. I can't, unfortunately.
You're just sorry, mate. I'm the most beautiful. You think this happens overnight? I'm sorry.
Exactly. Come on, I don't pull these Dora Milaje chicks by not going to yoga. God damn it. Anyway, they all get beaten. They go outside as well and have a few fights. Geralt almost gets getting the best of. The guy throws sand in his eyes, and he stops the spear, but he can't fucking see because he can't rub his eyes. And Yen comes along and shanks him in the neck. Saves his life.
I would like if we could retcon this scene to where because a bunch of these Reaver guys turn up, right? Where we thought there were like 5 or 6, and like an extra 12 or 15 arrive.
Yeah.
I would have liked if she'd taken the majority out with magic, Geralt had been left to fight 4 or 5, and then she runs up and stabs this guy because of how important Geralt is to her. I like that as a scene. I don't mind her stabbing a guy in the neck. I do mind her sword fighting 15 guys whose life has been, killing people with swords.
Yeah.
It feels weird to me, so I hate it because she also has some of the best scenes with Geralt.
Yeah.
And this is the worst scene, and it's with Geralt.
Everything has ups and downs. This is unfortunately one of those really low downs.
It really is.
Really low downs. And then they go, okay, well, let's go inside, and we'll stay out. They're staying outside at this point, and then they talk to the dragon again, who's changed back into human form. And they basically lay down, it's like, this is the reason and this is why I'm here, because we heard the cry of the other dragon. It could be heard through all this, and that's why we've come to see the dragon. It does. So what was the reason why he needed Geralt then? Because I think he says in it where he's like, I knew that you would protect a dragon rather than kill it.
Yeah,
right?
so Geralt
couldn't he have killed them all by himself?
So Geralt, there's a couple of things I think, which
You're
is
a gold dragon, motherfucker.
So one of the beefs early on, I remember, was why doesn't the gold dragon just kill all the Reavers right in the cave?
Yeah.
Well, it's because the Dora Milaje, Geralt, and Yennefer are all tied up in the fight, so he can't just flamethrower them because he'll kill allies. So that's one thing. And Geralt has this reputation with humans as like the Butcher of Blaviken, takes no prisoners, right? But with monsters, and on that side of the magical spectrum, people actually know this Witcher doesn't kill mindless creatures if he can help it.
Right.
Right, like
Yeah.
he would kill that Doppler, but a Doppler, no.
And
In fact,
didn't want to kill that other thing that was starving in the thing.
Right,
as well, yeah.
and he's known to have befriended a bunch of these things. He's friends with dwarves. He's friends with I forget the name of the Doppler in The Witcher 3, but he's an actual friend. This is known about Geralt.
Yeah.
Him saving the Brux, is it Bruxa? The princess girl.
Yes, yeah.
Right, like it's known that Geralt will save and break curses rather than just kill the thing. And I think the reason he did that was, one, to help find this dragon. Obviously, he flying around wouldn't, for whatever reason, he couldn't find the thing. We'll just say that's the thing. So protecting him and the Dormelage up the thing from other monsters. And once you get there, having this powerful of an ally to...
He does sort of say that at the beginning, where it's like, with you on our team, we'll be unstoppable. But where he's saying it as in like team to track down a dragon, he probably means to himself to defend this egg.
And also, like, Geralt's the most likely to be able to find the dragons then anyway, because he's killed... Forget dragons. Like, he's hunted wyverns, like the minor dragons, stuff like that. So he would know from his studies where dragons would like to make nests. He'd know the signs. He'd know, like, he's a master tracker. He has these Wolverine senses. Like, this is the guy that's most likely to help you find the cave. Forget everybody else. If you just need one guy to track, get up there and find it, probably this dude.
Yeah.
And the fact that he'll be on side and want to protect rather than kill it. You know, so that's why I take it. Also, let's not forget, Geralt's actually the main character. So we need a good reason to get him...
Solid point there. Yeah, it's like, we don't need Geralt. Fuck it. A guy and two women go looking for a dragon.
Right.
Who the fuck are these guys? Oh, Yennefer shows up. Well, by herself, that's not really interesting. She has no romantic connection with anybody. She's just there to steal a heart.
Right.
Okay. So then the dragon pulls out the teeth from the dead dragon.
Yeah.
And
gives
goes
it to the dwarves, right?
Gives it to the dwarves and says, give these to the king as trophy to prove that you killed the dragon.
Yeah.
And say that everything's been done. They sort of like, will this be enough? And it's like, well, if he wants true evidence, then I'll drop the carcass of the
wedding.
Or the dragon on his wedding day. And it's like, oh, well, okay, let's not...
the guy's like, you know what, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'll take these dragon teeth and go and become a
hero.
Lord, a hero and a lord of wherever the frick.
Exactly. Yeah. And it sort of solves the problem. It's sort of like they're not going to come looking for the egg anymore. Right. And
well, so no one else knows.
No one knows
egg.
exactly. Yeah. So they think it's just a dragon. They're like, well, the dragon's taken care of. All right, goodbye.
Right.
See you later. And that's the sort of end of that bit. Now, they do have a sit-down after this.
Yes, they do.
And the dragon's very... Does it have, like, magical powers and it can sense sort of, like, what goes on between them and around them and stuff to do with the djinn and things like that?
I'm going to say... Yes. In fact, I was thinking about this on the way here. One of my big problems with this whole thing, and I'm going to say it's because the dragon is so powerful, is that, I feel like Yennefer should have been able to feel that a being of that kind of power was nearby, right? Like, they can kind of tell when they're facing up against another mage how powerful they are. Like, you can feel the magic essence in the world. I'm going to say that, yes, this thing is ancient, like... Witches and stuff are long lived. I'm going to say this guy's like 1,000 years old, right? And he can change shapes. He can breathe fire. Like, he's a magical being.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that he can feel there is a connection between them. That
there's otherworldly, like, magical something between them.
Right.
Because he sort of like brings it up, and then it sort of really fucks with the relationship, because Yennefer sees the djinn's last wish that Geralt made as the only reason why they are together. The reason why they can't stop thinking about each other, they can't stop talking to each other, why they can't stop bumping into each other, rather than them actually having a real connection. And she gets pissed and won't listen to anything. Geralt's like, no, I made that last wish to save you. And then it's like, oh yeah, to keep me all for yourself. And it gets really out of hand really quickly.
The best bit of writing about this, I love this emote, it's so good, is that Yennefer throughout this series has had this beef. We'll forget the atrocious, they took it from me.
Yeah.
But like throughout the whole show, she's been like, I want the choice, I want power, I don't want to be beholden to anyone. That's always been her thing.
Yeah.
And so to her, this would feel like her choice has been taken away. We're not in love because we're in love. We're in love because you took the choice of us falling in love away from us, right? And so that is a really deep wound, because she's all about because she comes from a place of never having choice, not having a future. So, and that's why she always achieved power. She went to achieve power was to make sure that whatever she did was because she wanted to do it, right?
Yeah.
And her whole going after this thing, the womb, getting her womb back, isn't really to have a baby. It's to make sure she has the option of having a baby, whether she's going to or not. But she wants the option. She wants ultimate freedom is what she wants.
And that's the only thing that she's really been restricted of right now.
Right. And so that's why I feel like the wish really hurts her.
Got under her, yeah. The dragon as well sort of lays out as well. It's like you're never gonna be able to have
he
kids
says, I'm gonna save you guys a lot of pain by giving you some now, a small amount now. The witch will never regain her womb. And what does he say about the wish? He says the wish to keep her is gonna make her
I'm not sure.
It's basically, he lays out that like you wishing for you two to be together is the thing that's gonna drive you two apart.
Yeah.
And you'll never have each other, you'll never be happy.
It's really shitty. And Geralt, after that, where they sort of like all move apart, and Geralt's obviously upset by hearing that, as you would be.
Yeah, he's looking up at out at the mountainscape.
Exactly. And Jeskia comes up to ask him a few questions about the story so he can get it down for his song. And he snaps at
he
Jeskia.
really lays into Jeskia.
Really badly.
It's like, way too mean.
It's way too mean. It's like, why is it that everything bad that's ever happened to me, you're at the center of it? Wherever it is, whether it's this with the djinn, whether it's with he brings up another point that I forget as well. Another thing, you're always there. If there's one thing that I can rid myself of this world to be happy, it's you. Oh, well, I'll just
I'll speak to you. I'll get the rest of the story from the others.
And see you around, girl.
Mate,
fuck!
It feels like he just kicked a puppy.
I know, right?
And also, like, he does this. Him looking out at the mountains.
Yeah.
He is all the acting he needs. Doesn't need any extra lines. Like, once he said that, he does this like slow blink and eye roll thing of like, fuck.
I've done it again.
Yeah,
I did push people away again.
Well, like, you know who's mean to Jeskia in the Jin episode?
Yes.
Then as soon as something's wrong, like, what is he trying to do? He's trying to save his friend.
Yeah.
And then he even says to the end, like, I said something mean to him. I don't want that to be the last thing he hears.
Yeah.
Like, he is kind of a kind soul.
Yeah.
But he's also as deeply wounded as he's ever been. Bearing in mind, this is a guy that I'm pretty sure I went back and watched it. I do think there's a pitchfork scar in his back.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's literally been murdered before.
Yeah.
And this is the most painful moment in his life, you know?
There you go.
So he's not really worried about collateral damage.
Yeah.
But he's like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. And then he feels even worse. Henry Cavill looking out at that mountainscape sold me on him being an incredible actor.
Yeah.
This episode.
That's great.
Henry Cavill's acting in this episode is outstanding. There's just a couple of things about it.
Nothing can be perfect. Nothing, I tell you, except for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Except for that, of course.
And that's the end of the episode, as far as I know.
Yeah, in reality, we cut back to the Nilfgaard guy and all that stuff. But that's
that. Episode 6, guys. Despite some of the things we've mentioned in this, I did kind of like the episode. It
is by far the highlight and the low light so far. Like the Yen Geralt stuff, their relationship stuff, highlight. So amazing, especially because, you know, we played the game. The Last Wish mission is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, and getting to see that, having played the game and knowing what happens. I don't know. Have you done it multiple times? Do you know what happens if you choose both endings to that mission? Is like so incredible. But then there's that weird sword fight that just doesn't make sense for Yen. I'm cool for her to get into the fights and be badass. We know she's awesome. Have her be awesome in her way.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. And then like the stuff with the dragon is just a bit, the way he speaks and like, I don't know, doesn't
do much as well. Like, all right, he blows flames once and it's just like,
on the guy that's basically bleeding out, he could have stepped on him.
I know. Or he could have just scared him and he would have gone, oh! Yeah, anyway, it was, there was some underwhelming bits right there as well.
How do you feel about the episode? Because I hate that I actually think it's a 7. I think it's really good.
I was gonna
but I
say
hate
that as
it.
well. That's the problem because it's like Game of Thrones, right? Whereas actually Game of Thrones I think is worse. But it's like
Game of Thrones way
so
worse.
much good.
Yeah.
And then that one bit at the end that really fucks everything up. And it's
Game of
like,
Thrones-
okay, so do you say everything is terrible? You can't say everything is terrible. But then that ending is so terrible.
It's awful. Yeah.
So it's like that, really.
It's
isn't
one of
it?
those things
like,
where you're like, Game of Thrones, yeah, they only made like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And then they never finished it. They never finished it. Oh, but it says there's 8 seasons. No, they never finished it.
I do like how,
You'll have to come up with your own ending in your head.
other than to say this stuff, no one talks about Game of Thrones.
No, yeah, exactly.
We've just all agreed, erase that from our memories, okay,
Which
guys?
is so sad because had season 8 been good, that
Talked
would have
about
been
forever.
that would have been the thing we would be comparing this to.
Yeah.
Like we're comparing it in bad, but we would be comparing The Witcher and Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. We would be, and we can't.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Shall we kick it over to some of our bros who've written in?
Hells yes.
To our Discord server, just like you guys can by clicking the link in the description. Adam the Papa 3 Simp. I think he's the 3rd simp, maybe, perhaps. And he writes in again in the, is it the Elder Speak right here?
Yeah.
Cedar Mill, whatever this is. I'm going to go. Cade
Mill, I think it is,
whatever.
yeah.
Incoming Diogo essay. All right, buckle up.
Great.
lads. Sheps. The books are canon, and the game, and not the games or the show. The game is
No,
canon.
the
and
game's
everything.
canon.
That's all it is, right there.
I'm gonna for real, unironically, the game is canon.
Yeah.
The game is canon.
Fuck the books.
I know that's gonna ruffle a lot of jimmies because there's a lot of book fans in there. But the thing that made this mainstream, the thing that most people know, is the game. Whereas, like with Harry Potter, it's the books, right? The game is canon. The books are what the game is based on, but the game is the canon. And I'm sorry that you're so wrong.
Adam, typical Adam with his incorrect takes.
With
you know,
his
this is
shit
the way
tier
it is.
takes.
Exactly. The books came first, and without them, we obviously wouldn't have the games.
I
That's
agree.
a terrible argument. Don't I agree with that at all?
I agree that the books came first. That doesn't change the fact that the game's canon.
Your argument is now invalid. I love we're just shit talking back and forth there. And please, for the love of God, get a list of names. I promise I will get a list of names after the next episode. I promise you that.
There's 4 names. There's Mousetrap,
Mousetrap,
Geralt, we know,
Geralt, we know obviously.
Jaskier,
Yeah.
which we're saying wrong.
Yes.
Yen,
Yen.
and the dragon and the Dora Milaje. That's
Exactly.
everybody.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
But we got all the names correct there.
Dickhead.
Mother Miranda, we got all that stuff. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. And yes, it's bothering more than Ains because WandaVision, I think you only got the name wrong as opposed to this show where you two get every other name wrong.
There's only one important name.
Exactly. Geralt of Rivia, that's all we care about, okay? Also, Sheps, you are not allowed to say that the books are bad when you've only read 2 of them. And if you... you don't... Anyway, The Last Wish, the first book of the collection of short stories,
Yeah.
and then presumably Blood of Elves, the first novel in the series. You completely skipped over Sword of Destiny, which... This sounds really like... I was like...
It sounds like we just pissed off a Lord of the Rings nerd.
This is what it is. Adam, I love you. And what I'm saying right now is because you're a bro and I love to shit talk my bros, all right? But this sounds like those guys, like, you know, on Reddit when you pop on, you say something, and then they're like...
Did you know? So this is a real thing, which I bet...
But it's because he knows so much
Yeah.
and he's such a connoisseur of this.
So
stuff.
look, for the record, I may have said it, but what I'm always mean is not that the books are bad, but the game is better. The books are not incredible. I think the writing, especially because it's Polish into English, and maybe I got a bad translation, that's also possible.
Right.
But like the writing isn't incredible. And I've read plenty of stuff that is incredible, like incredibly well written. We've played stuff that's incredibly well written. So I have an idea of storytelling. The books are unrefined. That's how at least the versions that I read were somewhat unrefined. Great concept, great world, just not incredible, which is fine because it's a translation. I get that.
Perhaps because he says it here, he's like, so both of you get to reading it too, get reading it, or if you're too lazy like me, he says, not me but him, then I recommend listening to audiobooks. So maybe he got a good read of it.
So that's something. So what?
Someone who's very talented.
Just to do quick book talk, my favorite fiction series of all time is a trilogy called The First Law by a guy named Joe Abercrombie. And the best way because I read the books first, the best way to read these books is to go to Amazon and get the audiobook read by Stephen Pacey. He's so good. I know his name. It is incredible. It's even better than reading it yourself. He's amazing. So he turns some of the best written books I've ever read into amazing, even better. So that is also a possible thing. But despite that, the game is the canon, not because because that's the way everybody knows it. Yes, this is where it originated from. I am all about that. I get it. But like the game is the real canon.
Now he goes, now on to the actual episode.
Yeah.
Probably the worst episode. The CGI for and he names the dragon Villantrenimerth is bad, of course, the name we just named.
Yeah. 3 jackdaws, yeah.
And why is Borch an old man?
Wait. Villantrenimerth is... And Borch... Isn't Borch
the dragon?
Which one of these
is human form?
Oh, is it?
When he's in human form, he's Borch 3 jackdaws.
Right.
But
he's that in
Villantrenimerth is the dragon.
Okay, cool.
I do not agree with Tyr and Veer.
That's it.
That's the
Dora
name
Milaje, yeah.
Him being the most beautiful. Why? Neither the man nor the dragon is beautiful in any way. I think a dragon is beautiful. I'd say a dragon is beautiful.
Yeah, I think
majestic.
First of all, it's a golden dragon, right?
Yeah.
And I think because we see a shitty CG, but like you have to imagine your version of like Smaug, but he's gold and all that, right? And also like beautiful in the way that like a gorilla or like a lion or a bear, like the apex predator, the king of the jungle.
This way I interpreted it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's absolute power.
Yeah.
And also it's gold.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
He goes, I do not agree with that. Hopefully they up the budget for season 2.
God, I hope so, if we're going to see another frickin' dragon.
Exactly. And where the frick is Dora Grey and Sheepbagger? Do you know who they are?
Yeah, I want to say they're in the books. They are, I think, if memory serves, because I think I've read like 2.5 of the books. They are some of Geralt's friends. I think even Jaskier names one of them in this, but it's easy to overlook because it's like a side.
And you don't really know him.
Yeah, it's just a little name drop, yeah.
Where did Mousesack get Calanthe's sash from? Did he have it under his jacket or in his pants? They took my choice. No, they didn't. You knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Ice skating, if you
it's
say...
worse. I'm sorry. Okay, I gotta say it's worse than that because she missed the final exam, and then goes in after the fact, speaks to the guy and says, "I want it. I'll do it without the painkillers.
Yeah.
I don't have time." Completely, goes out of her way to do it, knowing exactly what it means. The guy explains what it means. She says, "I know what I'm getting into. I want power."
Yeah.
I hate that line. That line is the lowest point in the entire show.
So dumb.
It's the lowest point for me in the whole Witcher franchise.
It's because you don't need
awful.
to say it as well. Like you said, you could say, "I want to have this back."
Yeah.
I didn't realize what it meant to me.
I want my
stuff like
choice
that.
back.
It could be easily
They
done
took it from
differently.
me, but I want my choice.
He says here as well, ice skating, you say, if you know, you know.
Oh, I
Something from the books,
think
perhaps?
that's... I don't know if it's... maybe from the books. I thought there was something in Skellige where they talk about ice skating as well, but I forget in the game, but I forget.
Okay. He lays out the whole name of Cahir. So it's Cahir Mor Durafrim Abe Kalaka is back again with the shriveled ballsack armor. The white flame, nice name drop. I forgot just how bad the dragons looked, and the episode ends with Cahir just randomly reciting the beginning parts of Ithlin's prophecy for some reason. Vafanapoli.
And then Jack wrote something in frickin' Elvish.
Well, he is an elf. That guy,
Kunas
so
Marata Tumo Kara. I bet that's some awful slur in Spanish or something, you know?
Let me see. Translation. It comes up with Gaelic on here. Irish, it says here. How are you, my friend?
Okay.
Doing well.
That actually makes a lot of sense because they do use Gaelic influence in a lot of the language for this because it's old European. Yeah, so like
probably
the
sounds
elves.
more like it,
Yeah, the
yeah.
elves speak a bunch. There's a bunch of Gaelic influence in like the Elvish and stuff like that.
All right.
Which is one of the cooler bits about The Witcher, actually.
That is quite interesting, yeah. And that is all of the comments from all of our bros right there.
Frick!
Thank you guys so much for writing there.
Did we totally forgot to put a Patreon thread up for this, didn't we?
I did, yes.
Fuck.
In fact, Adam had to remind me late last night after the stream. He was like, don't forget to put this up. And I was like, I will. And I did the Discord one. And I was like, all right. Time to relax, guys.
Everything's done. Is this? Did I leave the stove on?
I feel like I've forgotten something. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. As I said, next week will be a double episode, the final part of our Witcher series right here. And then we'll jump right into Loki. And that should be a good one right there. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Bro, thank you for joining me for another episode.
Yep.
And I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Pull out a tiny dagger to kill a dragon. Give me your heart.
What are you doing with the fucking butter knife, Yen?
I should have sharpened this up.
She's like the number one mage in the world. She's next to the number one witch in the world. You don't think like a Jim Petter. By the way, Geralt, if you were going to kill a dragon, like, I know you're not, but if you were a silver, yeah, okay, great, and like maybe something like this big, a little bit bigger,
Bigger?
Fruit knife, maybe. Okay, babes.
I got this pocket knife. 1 second.
Yeah, what are you doing? Fucking hell.